Hey guys, welcome to Picksburgh. This is Anthony, and you're joining us for ECOM and Beyond Morning Show. With me, as always, is my co-host Nate. Every day I'm hustling, and we also have a very special guest today. We have Paul, Gate City Picker, in the house. So if you guys aren't subscribed to Paul, I do have his link in the description down below. If we have any mods in the house currently, you can feel free to drop his link in the chat. I'd appreciate that. I want to say hello to the people that are here with us already. Looks like we have Larry Lafferty in the house. He was the first one here, so he's going to get a broski point today. We have Justin Jacobs. What's going on, Justin? By the way, Nate, have we decided what we're giving away this month?
Nah, we'll talk about that.
Okay. We got Amy in the house. What's going on, Amy? Good to see you. We got Perlene. What's up, Lynn? Jimmy's here. He said he's can't stay. He's going thrifting. Hopefully everything's okay with your teacher, man. Matt BK Vending and Flipping in the house. What's going on, Matt? Good to see you, dude. Morning Country Picker. Glad you're here, man. Kelly the Ecom Mom Ward. What's going on, Kelly? Good to see you today. EC Sales, the master of the license plate, is with us. Hey, what's up, Shane M? Good to see you, dude. Thanks for dropping Paul's link. There it is right there, guys. If anybody wants to go and subscribe to him, definitely appreciate it. We got Tommy the Bargain Effect in the house. What's up, Tommy? $10. Good to see you, Ray. Moronic Pest is in the house. Good to see you, bro. Anyone else I missed, feel free to say hello, and we will greet you. But yeah, today we have Paul with us. He's Gate City Picker on YouTube, and he's just a really cool guy. I haven't had too much of a chance to catch up with you lately, Paul. How have you been, man?
Doing well. A lot of ups and downs, and our resale kind of hit a plateau, and so we're doing a lot more, kind of trying to expand other platforms, expand our Amazon more than what we have been doing. I think one of the last times I did speak to you was right after our storage unit at our flea market got broke into.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that. It's out of flea market season now, so trying to figure out how to kind of continue that. I have been going, but I usually load some stuff up and then go up to where all the people are. So it's just kind of like we're almost at a little bit of a plateau, and we're just trying to put our heads together. I run this with my wife, and we just trying to hit a plateau. We're trying to figure out how to expand, and it's been a lot of fun too. So
yeah,
that's a lot of people going on with us over the last kind of year or so.
I think a lot of people have kind of hit a little bit of a plateau, regardless if it's just eBay or whatever platform they're dealing with. Because I've seen a lot of people go to the multi-platform approach over the last few months. Good morning, Alexis. Good morning, Eric Bischoff. Good morning, Brian. Glad you guys are here.
Yeah, we got on early on with List Perfectly, so we've actually been on multiple platforms for a pretty long time, but like we've just kind of hit a plateau with that too. It's like we've got the people that share our closet for us on Poshmark. We cross posting just about everything we can. We don't put clothes on Mercari. We found other people have different experience that clothes don't sell on Mercari. Other things, electronics, hard goods, toys, that stuff sells better on Mercari. I've heard other people talk about they can sell clothes, but we just hadn't had good experience with clothes on Mercari, so we just do hard goods there. We actually closed our Etsy store because it just wasn't generating money for the expense, so we closed the Etsy store. We've been trying some of the other ones that come with List Perfectly. When you do List Perfectly, it gives you access to a lot of other platforms. We'll put one or two things on some other ones, some of our higher end clothing and stuff like that. But it's just kind of plateaued right now for us, and so we're just trying to figure out our next move.
Yeah, makes sense. Do you like List Perfectly though?
Oh, we List Perfectly has probably added probably doubled, more than tripled our sales when we went to that. I mean, we pay. I want to say, I think we pay the top tier. Is that correct? Yeah, we pay the top tier, and it's well worth the investment. It's if you have, and I'll say this with a lot of things. There's a lot of different programs to do a lot of different things. There's always the Rolo versus DYMO and List versus the other ones. But to me, it doesn't matter which one you use. Just use something because it's going to expand. It's going to expand your network, and it's going to. It's like when we went to a label printer. I mean, my thing the most in reselling, the two things that you need most of is of course time and inventory, and anything that saves you time. So list perfectly, anything to help cross post. If you do that manually, I mean, just think how long it takes to do an eBay listing. Now double that if you're going to go to list at Mercari. Now triple that if you're going to list the same thing on Poshmark. Right. So anything that saves time, anything that puts time back into your business is well worth the investment. Just do your research, of course.
Yeah, I really enjoyed using Vendu. It's been very beneficial. Within the first day, it paid for itself.
Mm-hmm.
How many listings and stuff is with the top tier with List Perfectly, roughly?
Top. What's the top tier listing limit, son? She's looking it up. I can't remember, but I don't think we've ever hit it. It's well worth it. Another one we use is Sellhound. It's a one that automatically generates the eBay listing, and then you just kind of go in and edit it and fine tune it. That's another one that's just been a saving grace type thing. Just to, again, anytime you can gain time in this bit, in your business, and focus more time. It's one of the reasons I really kind of stopped doing YouTube videos. Is it just I didn't have time for it. I needed to go, and I needed more time to focus on the business. So, I like to use products and services that save time. More than anything else.
For sure. That's kind of how I got to the everyday grind of YouTube. Was I had a month and a half backstock of videos, and then I just stopped filming altogether just because I was trying to build the business back up. It definitely is a time suck, though. That's for sure. I want to say hi to a few more people who jumped in. No Money G, what's up, Greg? Alabama Thrifter, good to see you, my man. Lobster, what's going on, dude? Good to see you. Alexis, how you doing today? Landshark Picker, what's going on, Craig?
Craig.
And if I missed anyone, feel free to say it.
LSP, one of the most underrated YouTubers out there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Got that salt and pepper beard going on. Speaking of which, time to pay the bills, guys. This morning show is brought to you by Lion Tamer.
Right. The top tier is actually it's unlimited.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, top tier is unlimited. It's $69.
Good morning, Kathy.
Yeah, I definitely need to figure out which one I want to use, either List Perfectly or Vendu. I won't need the top tier, but definitely probably the middle ground one, just because I don't have a lot of listings. But yeah, it's very important to do that, to have that done, and it saves a lot of time, especially with me. I don't have time as it is. So for me to cross post, that would be amazing to be able to get some more eyes on my.
Sure, I know that when we found out about List Perfectly, there was a waiting list, and I'm not sure if there still is one. Because I think they're in the beginning, they were kind of trying to keep it to a small kind of group just to kind of work out the kinks and bugs. And I don't know if there's still a waiting list or not. So if anything, Nate, just go sign up, get on a waiting list. And then when it is available, then you can figure it out.
Yeah, I'll probably get something where it's 100 or 200 listings. Because I only have 300 listings on eBay. So I'll burn. I don't want to pay super amount of money.
Oh, absolutely. What's the same thing with Amazon inventory, type softwares? If you don't have the, I would say at least 100 SKUs, you probably don't. You could probably manage that on your own. You probably don't need any type of, all those inventory trackers and things like that, or price, what do you do, the price droppers, and like, same thing. It's like, you should only really get what you, one, can afford to, and what makes sense for your business.
Right.
Hey, Jonathan, good morning. Yeah, Lynn, I got some packages here. Got a few more that need packed yet that I'm waiting on payment. But yeah, I've had a good few days here on eBay. It definitely is. It's on an upswing. Now I just need to take all the listings I've been throwing up there this week and move them over to Mercari and Poshmark.
I've been eating donuts on eBay. Man.
Hey, CC, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, I actually got the invite to be part of the beta for List Perfectly, and instead of putting the money out, I was trying to be cheap, and I just went with the beta for Vendu because it was free. And since I just liked Vendu and it was working for me, I signed up for the 125 listing tier, and I paid the extra $5 for the cross posting. So my goal is basically just to transfer 125 items a month over to, Mercari and Poshmark, and hopefully that'll generate enough, for me.
Yeah, that's probably what tier I'm going to go with too.
I would be interested in trying List Perfectly though. From what I've heard, it's like probably like top of its tier in as far as like the listing platforms go.
But the other part of it is like, I think, I don't want to say every time, but every so often you look on there's a new platform on there that, ones that I've never heard of. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah. I can't remember the one, but it's kind of like a urban streetwear type of thing, and it's like really, really high end one. And that one just came up last week or a couple weeks ago. I don't remember the name of it, so I've been trying to figure out which type of stuff. And that's the hardest thing about selling clothing is keeping up with styles, because I'm a 41-year-old white man. I don't know about urban street clothes. So it's just kind of, that's the other part is, I know to pick up certain clothing, but like what's in style right now is, that stuff's kind of, because it changes like that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You guys were talking about this a couple weeks ago. It's like Champion, sweaters are in style now, and it's like, I wore that stuff back in the 80s when I was riding a skateboard and I got made fun of. And now if I wish I had all that stuff back.
Yeah, exactly. That stuff's big money now. It's just crazy. Like, one day, 5 years from now, something that will be like, oh, that was worthless. That'll be worth tons of money. So no wonder I see my neighbor across the street from my Graham's house like hoard everything, because you never know what's going to be worth money. So, yeah.
I was telling somebody, because we saw the guy at work, we saw these guys wearing those Champion sweaters, and he said, man, maybe we should rent a storage unit and buy all the faded glory. Maybe in 20 years it'll be in style. And they're worth a lot of money.
That and George.
Good morning. Good morning, Dana. Yeah, for sure. So, Paul, tell us something about your channel that maybe people that haven't ever experienced your channel, like give us like a little preview of kind of what to expect.
Right now, don't expect much. Again, I don't. Especially with because the easiest thing to do was to shoot videos when I went to the flea market and things like that. But with it being like towards the end of winter here, it's that was primarily the type of stuff I was doing. And then of course yard sales, I would do some yard sale stuff. But again, it's just I just kind of don't have time for it right now. Hopefully, knock on some type of wood around here, within a year and a half or so, I might be going full time at this. I'm not sure, but who knows? It's very hard to leave the stable job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I throw a video up every once in a while. I actually have a video, but it kind of fell through. I found this guy who closed a used bookstore, and he, pretty much said, "Yeah, come check out what I got." So I shot this really nice video about it, and it was going to be a pretty decent source of books and income, and then it got backed out. So I was like, well, that kind of shot that video out of the water, you know what I mean? So there was really no point in posting it.
Yeah.
So So, and that was the other thing is one of the other reasons I put a lot of thought and time into making that video. And then it's kind of like, well, now it's worthless because there's no point of putting it up because, it all just kind of fell through. And so, again, time, I just need more time. And right now with working a full-time job, running, this with my wife on the side and then having essentially three teenage kids, time is, it just had to go, for now. So I might put a video up every once in a while, but more than likely I can't put anything up on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
We're like twins minus the teenagers. I got little ones. Basically, we're exactly the same.
So what do you do for a full-time job, Paul?
I work in aviation. I was a mechanic for a long time, and then within the last number of years, I got opportunity to go into doing training, and so now I do safety training to the guys who work on airplanes, basically.
That's awesome, man.
So that's a lot of sitting down, reading OSHA regulations and FAA regulations, and making sure that our guys are following those regulations and all that. So.
Is that something you'd like to continue doing, or do you ever want to go like full time with reselling?
Well, I definitely want to go full time with reselling, but again, it's kind of hard to walk away from the steady paycheck with insurance and things like that. It's comfortable. One of the things we talk about being resellers is to grow your business is to get outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So at some point in time, you got to get outside that comfort zone. But I'm also I've been kind of real lucky with that job is right when, at the business or the company I'm at, right when I kind of start getting bored with the specific job I have, I tend to get moved to a different job. And so it re-piques my interest. And so that's kind of been what's happening. So I was a mechanic for, 10, 15 years. And I was a mechanic for about a year and a half. And then I was a foreman for a while. Then I went back to being a mechanic. Then I was a foreman for a long time, and then I moved to the corporate office for a while, traveling around, doing some types of training and process improvements and things like that. Then I went back to being a mechanic for a while, and now I've been doing training for the last 2 years. So it keeps my interest up. But at some point in time, I'm so scatterbrained sometimes that I just get bored. And when things become simple and easy to me, I get bored real quick. You know what I mean? It's hard to keep my interest. So right now it's interesting because I'm reading a lot of, doing a lot of reading regulations and, scheduling classes for it. So, at some point in time, I do hope to go full time because, it's what needs to happen for the business to grow. Like right now, my wife's basically working this full time while she finishes up school. And so, she'll be done probably within the next 2 months. And then, then it would be both of us be working full time and the business will be part-time. So we're trying to also do a lot of, things that just kind of work automatically, make a lot of this stuff kind of passive. That's why we do things like List Perfectly, Sell Hound. I don't remember the name of the app. There's an app or a website we use to share our closet for us. And then we have somebody who takes our pictures for our eBay. So we're trying to get it as automated. That's the word I was looking, automated as possible for us right now. Where when we both go full-time, it's kind of more automatic rather than a lot, focused time.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
I like how you have a lot of processes and things kind of like you said automated already. So even if you go full time, you could add all types of things, or you could take some of that back if you wanted to.
Right.
Yeah, depending on what you want to do and what kind of setup you want to have. You know what I mean? Like you could do whatever basically because now you're going to have 8 hours a day free.
Yeah, one of the things I did when I was in the corporate office is they sent me to, if I think Nate, you work in a warehouse, so you know about Lean Six Sigma and all that type of stuff, and so I've got what's known as a green belt in Lean Six Sigma, so I know all about automating processes and process improvements and things like that. So it's one of the things I consistently look at is how can I make this more streamlined, more process oriented, rather than kind of like every time I try to sell an item, it's kind of reinventing the wheel. It's like, no, it's do it the same way every time, and it becomes easier and becomes quicker.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, good morning to Harlan, DC Pucker, and Lisa Ciosa Sales. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Harlan watching us out on patrol.
That's and finding the way to make it automated. Sometimes that's like the hardest thing for a lot of us to do. Like even for myself, like if I, was trying to squeeze, to basically squeeze more juice out what I'm trying to do now, even at part time, finding an automated process or having things like really like mostly done by other things and the cost isn't real high. That is awesome that you have that set up already, basically like how it's running like it is. Because there's some things that I want to start using with like Sellhound. Like I want to start grabbing some like women's clothes and stuff and start to branch out in that area because I think I'm missing out with some of the money that I could be picking up at the thrift stores and stuff and kind of really making the trip really more better chance of being worthwhile every time I stop at the store. There's sometimes I'll go there and I'll pick up one item. It's like, damn, I was here for an hour, like looking at every piece of men's clothes and everything else. And, I know there's all these good clothes on the other side where no one's even looking and I just don't know nothing about it. So it's almost like, well, I'll just go over there, pick up things I think they're good, and then I can use Sellhound or at least
call your wife go look, dude. Because that's what my wife would do. Like we'd go every Monday to Ross, and she'd pick out like the good deals of women's stuff. And she was giving them to me to sell, but now she's just listing them on Poshmark. But she's been doing well with them.
We do the same thing when we hit a thrift or a yard sale or something like that. We kind of split up, and I kind of have a process where first things I do is I look at shoes, men's coats, jackets. Then I go to the electronics. Then I'll walk to the hard goods, and then I'll go to the clothing. Where my wife does kind of the same thing. She goes right to the shoes, and then she starts looking through the clothing. And again, process oriented. Kind of don't reinvent the wheel every time you go to a thrift store. Find a pattern that works for you, and like because the reason I look at men's clothing last is because there's so much inventory. There's so much stuff on that while I'm looking at the polo shirts, there could be a $3 combo VCR DVD player sitting on the shelf that somebody else is going to grab. So that's kind of like that's kind of the route that I take. Is like every time I go to the thrift store, those are the things. I look at men's shoes first, then I look at the men's jackets, coats, and sweaters. Then I go to the electronics because those are the top selling things that we have right now.
Right.
The things that sell easiest for us. I can go grab a Tommy Hilfiger polo shirt anywhere, but while I'm grabbing that Tommy Hilfiger polo shirt, there could be a Sony combo VCR sitting on back there that I'm gonna miss out on because I'm chasing $1 rather than chasing whatever a combo VCR goes for.
Right. Yeah, I kind of do the same process, and I have the same thought process. Like I want to go and try and get the stuff that we hope's there, you know what I mean, before anybody else does. And then kind of the clothes are, a lot of people, some people don't really even look. Some people just go to the hard goods and all that first and then leave. So the clothing is like more or less like, like you said, it's a little less dollar and it's so much of it. There's a lot of opportunities, left no matter when you kind of go through.
Yeah.
The only time it might be a little less, like might not be as good would be if it's like Dollar Day when they have our color 99 cents or whatever, then people kind of just start grabbing anything of the color of the day.
About the only time I'll change is like if there's a new rack of clothing out, like they roll it out, like I might look at that first. That way, because I would spend time too when I was trying to figure out how to do it. Would I'd be looking through clothing, and then while at the same time the workers are putting the clothes away, and I was like, well, what's that? Now I got to go back through the rack I just went through. So try to hit that clothing, the new stuff first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
good morning, Elo. Thanks for joining us, my man. I did want to give a shout out to Rev Resell. He's going to be with us on Monday. So if you guys haven't checked him out yet, please do. But yeah, clothing's typically where I end up my trip whenever I go into a Goodwill or a thrift store. I typically I do like almost like a complete circle because I walk in and right to my left in my main thrift store is going to be like the showcase. So I'll hit the showcase and I'll walk straight back to the electronics. Then I'll hit the toys. Then I'll go over to like the shoes and hats, and then I'll get into some clothing.
Our showcases are already so bad. Like I'll look, like as soon as you walk in, it's straight in, and I'll look and there'll be some stuff in there, and I'm like, why is that even in there?
Yeah,
I guess they think people are gonna steal it because it's you break open the package or whatever, and it's all like a $5 item or whatever, but people are like that. I don't know why, but yeah, that's what they do at our thrift. They just throw random stuff that it's easy to steal, I guess. And in the case, it's not really. They never really get the high dollar value stuff either. They keep it, sell it, or whatever. So,
hey,
like,
Jake.
I never see like the Wii's or anything like that. Like some places you might go to.
Our Wii's here are so overpriced that I think they're the last one I looked at the one right down the road from us. They had one for $25.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice.
Because I think that's the resale price is $25. For a Wii.
Yeah, just about. Actually, it might be a little cheaper. I think it's like 20, 25. Yeah. Yeah, it's starting to get hard with some of the stuff that we hope to find. The prices sometimes, and I think sometimes the workers just kind of just randomly pick a price. I go, well, on eBay it goes for this, so we'll add $3 to it.
I once knew a guy that volunteered, or was, I guess you called community service, more than volunteered there once, and he said that some of the stuff they have a list and it says Wii's price this, but he did tell me that there are some things that they have a guideline that says price it at this. But of course, that was 2 or 3 years ago when he told me that. It could be something different now, but
yeah.
But yeah, they do have somewhat of a guideline that, at least in our area, I think it's really in our area. The Goodwills are I don't want to say they're kind of independent, like they're independent per county, and so they're all kind of run differently.
Right.
So like the ones here in our county, they pretty much have a list, like men's clothes are this much, women's clothes are this much, shoes are this much type thing, and just the next county over, then each thing is individually priced. So it's all kind of it's kind of hard too sometimes when you do shop. It's kind of like, we got to remember what county you're in.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Myra, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I know for thrifts around this way, like if you're going to get a gaming console, it almost has to be like half off day. You know what I mean? Like it has to be like the correlated color for it to even be worth picking up.
Yeah.
And it seems like as far as like games, like really the only games they'll even put out are pickles. Like nothing even worth buying. That's what kind of sucks. I know, like whenever I first started like game hunting at thrifts, you used to be able to find some decent stuff every now and again, and it's like now it's like anything that's decent, they go straight to like either their Goodwill.com auctions or right to eBay now.
I can't tell you
I've looked up comps, and when I go to do sell similar, it's like a Goodwill of like Georgia or wherever, you know what I mean? Like that's selling it.
I remember the last time that I picked up a video game at a thrift store.
I was thinking the same thing. I think probably the last thing that I picked up, I pick up the the Guitar Hero and Rock Band game sometimes to combo up with the with the stuff, but
yeah,
that's about the only thing I picked. Still looking for my first. What's that? NCAA 14? Is that?
Oh yeah. That's a great one. If you find any sports game, that's the one to get.
Yeah, I'm still on the hunt for that one. That's on the bucket list of items to still find.
Yeah. 9-pound hammer. Good to see you, dude.
Yeah, I look at for especially yard sale season. I'm always like, okay, there's like 4 games. I'm like specifically hoping I find, and you never find them.
And the Mario and Pokemon Wii's too, I think are kind of desirable too as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, most first-party Nintendo stuff is pretty valuable to hold. It'll at least hold some value. So that's something I'm always looking for too, is like Nintendo stuff and cartridge-based stuff as well.
Yeah, I found I think it was a Mario something 3D. It was for Wii. It was brand new, unopened. I got it for like $7, and then I took it. I listed it like that day or the next day, and I sold it for like 50. So I was pretty excited about that. I thought I overpriced it, honestly, because I think they were going for like in the 30s or whatever, and someone bought it, so I was pretty happy.
Oh, that's awesome. You said if you want a copy of NCAA 14 for your personal play, I got an extra copy. Plays it all.
It wouldn't be personal. I don't have time for video games.
Yeah, I'd probably end up selling it too.
Yeah,
Really.
same here. Yeah, I don't know if I have a system I would play right now. I do have a Wii somewhere, but it's not. It's for sale though. But I have that type of stuff. I have never even listed yet.
What, with Wii's and stuff like that?
Yeah, I have a Wii. I haven't listed. I've had that since garage sale season.
You have games with it and stuff, or just
I have some games. I have the games listed though. I think.
Oh, okay.
Where all the games are listed.
I have a Wii that I need a controller for. I have just the Wii, and I don't have a controller for it.
I think I have like I have 2 controllers, the little motion bar, all that stuff that comes with it. It has everything.
A lot of times you make more money on Wii's if you separate them, like sell.
Yeah. I've got an original Xbox too, but I can't find the power cable. You know, they've got that funky power cable. Mm-hmm. I can't find, and like you could go on eBay and they're expensive, and I'm hoping just to kind of find one someday. Somebody just throws one up by accident, but yeah, I need that power cable to test the original Xbox, because sometimes those go pretty well, if you bundle them up with some games too.
Yeah. Hey, Michelle Lathan, good to see you. Yeah, I need to find the power supply to a original Xbox too. I have one here that I need to. I actually think I have 2 here that I need to test.
I'm surprised you don't have that cable. We have like all the cables from the bins.
I know, dude. Yeah, I mean, I very well might somewhere. I have to look through my cord bag again. Like, I have one of them big, like, Michael Kors dust covers, just filled with like different video game cords. So I very well might. I just have to look. I have a bunch of systems that need tested though.
I met Thrifter. I want your Super Nintendo. Let me get that.
Yeah,
that's probably one of the systems I'd probably keep, because I really didn't play it much as a kid.
Yeah, I was just telling Ash, like, my favorite like generation of video games was the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis era. She actually just bought me this for Valentine's Day. She gave it to me yesterday, but she's working for Valentine's Day, so it's the Sega Genesis Mini with the 40 games plus 2 unreleased games. So
I have the regular NES Mini.
Yeah, I have that too, and I have the SNES Mini too. Jody says he's got nothing. That sucks. You must not be a gamer.
See, that's what I used to do. I used to play so many video games and stuff, and it's so hard not to really like keep a system to play. You know what I mean? Like,
have you hooked up that Genesis yet that you bought off me? No.
I think it's in my bedroom, next to your computer. I think it's all sitting there still.
Well, look, you're gonna get that Super Nintendo from her, dude.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's like the only system I didn't play, because the only time I'd actually probably played it would have been like when I was a kid going to like department stores, and they had Yoshi's Island in there, and it was terrible at that game.
That's my favorite system of all time, is the Super Nintendo.
So I had a Sega as a kid. My neighbor, who has probably the ultimate gaming collection, who was actually trying to sell it. He had every game possible. So anytime I'd want to go play like anything I didn't have, I'd go to his house or whatever, and he had everything. Like, he's a reseller too, and he played Magic the Gathering, all the card games. So like, he was a reseller basically at like 10 years old. He was the neighborhood hustler, I guess you could say.
Lynn's asking, what do we think of the Nintendo Switch? I love it, but then again, I'm a Nintendo fanboy. So, like, I have all the major systems, and that's my favorite one of the current generation that I have.
I haven't played it at all. Like, I haven't even touched the controller. So I have no idea. My son wants one, so.
Yeah, my nephew has one, and he's glued to it.
Yeah, my nephew's glued to theirs as well. What's up, reseller man? Good to see you, man.
Reseller man's local. He's in just about an hour from me.
Oh, that's cool.
We keep telling each other we're going to meet up someday, but we're both not made much headway that way.
Yeah,
It's kind of how far me and Anthony are apart, about 45 minutes or so, and we just kind of always meet up at like a pretty. Well, actually, I probably go closer to him than he comes to me.
yeah.
I always go to Moroville, which is like about 40 minutes for me, and it's like 15-minute drive for him, so he makes out a little bit.
Yeah, see, he just said we'll meet up one day. Yeah, that day will come one day.
One day over the rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it, Lynn, if you like Nintendo games. DC Pucker says, do you keep game systems on hand to test discs and cartridges prior to listing? I do. Now, if it's a disc-based game and it has like no scratches and it looks like pretty new, I don't even bother testing it. But cartridge-based games, I have a Retron here, and it takes several different variations of cartridges. Plus, I own every Nintendo system ever made, so except for the Virtual Boy. So I can test like pretty much any of that stuff if I want to, and like I just have like a bunch of different systems. So I typically will test stuff, especially if it looks like I'll test every cartridge. But if the disc looks pretty clean, I don't even mess with it. I just list it. But if it has any scratches, I'll definitely test it. And
that was the plan for me, is to have one of each system. But again, space is another one of those things that, as a reseller, you can't have enough of, and I just don't have the space to keep one of each game system.
Yeah. Yeah, I had one of each, but I sold everything but the Nintendo stuff for the most part because like I just needed the money and I didn't play most of the stuff.
Right.
Hey Tripler, good to see you, man. So tell us some stuff about you, Paul, that people might not know.
Some stuff about me that people might not know. I'm originally from Anaheim, California. That's why I got the LA hat. Moved to North Carolina in 1994. So,
what made you go West Coast, East Coast?
It's called the Great California Recession. So my parents just my parents my father had been raised in California his whole life. My mother grew up in a town called Cicero, which is just south of Chicago, and then she went to college in California. They met, and they just got tired of the economics there, and just kind of been up and down. Like my dad had the same job for 25 years, and they came in one day and said, well, we're moving to Mexico, and basically laid everybody off. And then just kind of the ups and downs of, employment, unemployment, back and forth. And then my mom, who, had her job, same thing for a number of years, company up and moved. And so we had a cousin that lived here, and he pretty much said, had this big house to himself and said, come on out and stay with me. And essentially that's what they did.
That's cool. Hey, what's up, Mark? Good to see you, dude. Mark's Pittsburgh, dude. Lives over in Pitcairn, Nate.
Oh, okay. I know where that's at.
Yep.
That's closer to you than me, though.
Yeah. It's over by like Monroeville. Yeah. He's in the house.
I see Perlini says that she's is from Fullerton. That's exactly where I lived. I lived in Fullerton.
That's awesome.
I lived in Fullerton, Brea, for essentially my whole life. So I lived right next to Cal State Fullerton before we moved here.
Yeah, Jake, that was the heyday of the Orange County I don't know if that's skate scene or whatever, early 90s.
Oh yeah, yep. That's essentially like I told you before. That's essentially the crowd that I ran with. There is we skated all over Southern California from Fullerton to Buena Park to Anaheim to up and down all the beaches down that way. Back in the day when you could, when you were, I guess 10, 13, 14-year-old and your parents didn't worry about you, something happening to you. Can't do that nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, we were all over that. I like watching videos. One of my kind of guilty pleasures is watching skate videos when they get chased out by security guards because it takes you back to the day. So,
when's the last time you were skating?
I can't even tell you because essentially when I moved out here, I moved to a rural area, and the city was anywhere that would have a place to skate was 20 minutes away. So essentially I moved out here in 95. Now I did some a little bit after that, but it's just kind of one of those things that kind of fell by the wayside because there wasn't much interest here. Now there's like 3 skate parks. So
yeah.
So in the local area. So
I remember Venice from see Jacob said Venice was a skater's playground. That was wasn't that on Tony Hawk?
I believe so. Yeah, it was one
that's like the reason why I wouldn't even know that.
Yeah, Tony Hawk was legit back in the day too. Like probably right around that time frame, maybe a little after.
Yeah, I skated a lot of the same places he did. When I was out there, there was a lot of the high schools were kind of like we'd what's the way to say it without incriminating myself? Find access to high schools that had good rails and stuff like that. And so that was kind of the scene there for a while. And of course we do the swimming pool bowls, and I was crazy how we would just jump somebody's backyard fence, skate in their swimming pool, without them knowing. So
that's awesome.
It's like one of my favorite movies is oh god, now of course I say it's my favorite movie and it goes out oh gosh, skateboard movie, something dogs. I can't remember. It just went out of my head, but it just kind of brought me back to my childhood of not breaking in, that's the wrong word, acquiring places to skate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gleaming. Somebody said Gleaming the Cube. That was with Christian Slater. That was nothing like us. That was so Hollywood produced, but it's still a good movie.
Hey, what's up, D? Good to see you. Glad you can make it. Yeah, Lynn says California was the bomb back then. You could do just about anything you wanted. Yeah, I've never been. Me and Ash want to go to Disneyland out that way. So I know that we had talked about going and meeting up with West Max Gary out that way.
Yeah, I've never been to California. Farthest west I've been is
Lords of Dogstown.
Lord of Dogtown, that's what it is. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Lord of Dogtown.
Now. Cool. Yeah, I've never heard of that. I'll have to check that out.
It's about real early skating. It's kind of like starts in the mid 70s and runs through about the early or late 80s, early 90s, and kind of it follows 3 of the most prominent skaters in that area. That's before Tony Hawk type guys.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Lisa says her husband is a skateboarder and surfer. So what's up? Does he still skateboard and surf, Lisa? Yeah, I tried skateboarding one time. Pretty sure I got a skateboard for my 6th birthday, and I went to get on it on the sidewalk, and I flipped off the back of it, and it shot in the street and got ran over by a truck. And that was the one and only time I've ever skateboarded.
the Lord was telling you, Anthony, do not go on the skateboard.
That's back before your wrestling days. You knew how to fall.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't really get hurt. I just felt like a moron. The funny part was my mom was so pissed because she just bought it, and she actually went to Toys R Us and returned a like smashed, driven over skateboard. And like she wasn't taking no for an answer. She was like, "Your skateboard almost killed my kid." And for whatever reason, they actually did refund her. So I'll give her props for that one. What's up, Gary? Your ears must be ringing, man. We were just talking about you. Talking about California right now.
What's up, Gary? Yeah, California is definitely on my list of places I just want to go. I mean, there's so many cool things and the weather and everything else.
Nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to stay there.
Really?
Yeah, it's really expensive. But only thing I miss there is In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah, I got to try this In-N-Out Burger. I hear so many people talking about it, and I hear people talk about Whataburger. And as a fat guy, I just feel like it's wrong for me not to know what this food is like.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I can imagine how expensive it is. Like I know a guy who used to live in San Diego, and he wants to move back and start a church there. And basically him just telling me how much it costs to like lease a parking spot, let alone rent a building. It's like insane. Like coming from like what property values are here in Pennsylvania, it's like so cheap to live in Pennsylvania compared to like a lot of other places. Gary, we're gonna have to go to In-N-Out, man. Whenever I come down there, hang out with you.
That Cali sun is expensive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
That's why we don't get none of that nice sun. It's like what they do out in Cali.
Hey, good morning, Georgina.
I'll give you a pro tip. California In-N-Out thing. If you go, make sure you fly into the oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the airport now. Anyways, there's an airport that has an In-N-Out Burger in it, and you can get it before you even get out of the airport. So it's not LAX, it's Ontario. The Ontario airport has an In-N-Out Burger in it, or it did last time I was there 10 years ago, I think it was. So you can get it before you even leave the airport. And then there's one like right outside the airport, I think too, like on the drive out.
Gary says his rent in Cali is $3,400 a month. I pay less than half of that for property taxes on a house.
Right, the same thing.
That's nuts, dude. Like, what is that like for an apartment, or is that like for a warehouse, or like what exactly like how many bedrooms? Like, I'm just curious, man, because that is nuts. I'd be so poor if I lived in Cali.
Right.
I'd have to like probably live in a box in your alleyway somewhere.
Yeah, I'm also a failed real estate investor. Well, I don't want to say I never got into it, but like that's another one of the kind of YouTube things I watch is real estate investing. And every time I see those guys who do house flipping in California, they're like they buy these 1,500 square foot houses for, $400,000. I'm like, a $400,000 house here is at least a 6-bedroom mansion.
Right.
Yeah.
I just like, and they're talking about how much money they could flip on it. And it's like, man, if I was in real estate investment in like California, I don't think it would be the place for it. You got to get somewhere where, like I knew a guy who he lived in New York in Yonkers, and just kind of, we met on the internet through some mutual friends, and he came down to visit and told him how much I paid for my house. And he's like, this is on another house I own, was on an acre and a half. And he's like, he has this little 2-bedroom condo, and he paid, way more than I did. And he's like, I'm moving here. And he never did before he passed, but it's just crazy, the real estate markets in other areas.
Yeah.
It makes you grateful for the, you every time you write that mortgage check or that rent check, and you just kind of just think you could be writing it for a whole lot more and have a whole lot less.
Oh yeah, definitely. Gary was saying he has a 3-bedroom townhouse that he's paying that for monthly. Lynn's saying it's $300K for a home in Northern Cali. which is crazy because you can get a house in the town I live for like $30K.
Yeah, you can rent a 3-bedroom townhouse in PA for $400. Well, probably 400.
Yeah, I'll definitely say more 400 or 500.
Yeah, Jody, that's who I'm. Yeah, Meet Kevin is the guy that I watch. I mean, smart guy, but he gets so excited about paying $340,000 for a house that I could pay probably $89,000 here.
Yeah, I guess more or less, if you're buying property out in California, you know that the demand for it is so, is so high because it's California. People want to retire and everything. Move out there and have beautiful weather. So that would be the only thing I could think of why people would want to be in real estate out in that way, because you're gonna have to soup up those houses really nice. You can't just slap some paint on it and say, here you go. You have to
definitely. Yeah.
do everything in the kitchens, the bathrooms, and everything else, because I like watching those type of shows. Before I started doing reselling, I was able to watch TV a little more, and I used to watch how they, people like you were saying, like people buy like a house. It's like at the courthouse or whatever, where it's foreclosure or whatever, and they'll buy it for $20K or whatever it is, and then they'll dump like 10 grand in it or whatever, and then they'll sell it for $100,000 or whatever. So if I ever got into any type of estate, buying like property or whatever, that's something I definitely want to get into.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, good morning, Anthony. Good to see you, man. Yeah, sorry, Myra, didn't mean to get you going there on the fast food. I know how that goes. Yeah, Dana, you should come to Pittsburgh. Where it's at.
Dana, where are you at?
This is the only place in the world that has 6 legitimate Lombardi trophies. You can see 6 of them in New England, but they're tainted.
Jacob says in California, if you're paying $400 a month, you got to sleep with some heat under your pillow.
Right.
Yeah, I can imagine. I would venture to guess that do people typically make more money out in California? I mean, they would have to like be able to afford to live. You know what I mean? Like I would imagine people probably make a considerably more money for probably the same positions that we have out this way. At least I would hope so, because if not, then I don't know how the heck people afford to live.
Right. The cost of living there is, so much more as well. Taxes is the big thing there too.
Yeah, I've heard Missouri is really nice, Anthony. Minus the St. Louis. I've heard some horror stories about St. Louis. I have a friend of mine who's a U.S. missionary, and he was stationed in St. Louis for like 20 years. I've heard some crazy stories from St. Louis, but yeah, I've heard a lot of other like really awesome stories about how awesome like other parts of the state are.
This is wow, Patriots all the way.
Elo, man.
Come on, man.
I'm gonna now, bro.
I'm gonna say somebody spoke up about the Patriots. I'm gonna say this, and that way it's on record. I've seen some articles about the Raiders signing Tom Brady. If they do, I'm picking a new team.
Touche.
I'm gonna pick a new team until he leaves. I'll go back when he leaves. But if Tom Brady ends up at the Raiders, I'm picking a new team.
It'll be very interesting to see that happen. I think he might. I think he might go to another team, just for a lot of the Brady's only good because of blank, Belichick and all the other stuff. So
the only hope I have is that he's going to go somewhere where I think he's going to end up somewhere where he can push the coach around, and I don't think he'll be able to push Gruden around. So I don't think it's going to happen. He's going to want to go somewhere where he's going to dictate to the coach, what he wants to do rather than the other way around.
You never know. He might end up in good old Tennessee, and with Mike Vrabel and they have a heck of a running back down there. They can re-sign Henry, and they'd probably need another receiver piece or a tight end piece. But I mean, their defense is pretty solid, and I mean that wouldn't be a bad spot for them. They made the playoffs this year, made it pretty deep actually for what the expectations probably were for the team, to be honest. So there's a couple spots that could need a QB. I've heard some rumblings of Dallas wanting him, but I don't agree with that. But I think they're better off with Dak.
Thrift Beast says Tom Brady signed him with the XFL. That'd be awesome. Just see him get lit up.
Him and Antonio Brown can get back together in the XFL.
Yep. That would be a beautiful thing.
Did you see AB apologized to Big Ben?
Yep. Yeah, they had a segment about it on whatever the one shows with Marcellus Wiley and LeVar Arrington. They were talking about could AB come back to Pittsburgh, and then they had another segment. Will Le'Veon Bell come back to Pittsburgh? And it's like, man, they can both stay out of Pittsburgh for all I care.
Let's put it this way: if they would come back, I'd be open for it. But I would want them to be on the cheap so we can win this year. You know what I mean? I don't want to lose all of our pieces.
Yeah, like zero guaranteed money at all.
Yeah, like let's sign them for like $5 million a year and let's get it going. You know what I mean? It
would have to be a trade, and he makes like tons of money.
Le'Veon, yeah.
So they were basically saying the Jets would have to buy out a portion of his contract for that to work.
Well, if they might release him. You never know. I mean, he didn't have a great year last year. They could just release him, eat his signing bonus, and for the next X amount of years and spread it out. But
I'm with you, Harlan. I think the only place he goes if he leaves is San Diego because they got the team basically already set up to win.
San Diego would be another one. I think Tennessee.
LA.
Yeah, Rivers leaving San Diego, that was kind of out of nowhere, too.
Yeah.
I thought he would be there throwing interceptions for the rest of his life.
I haven't followed the NFL as much or seen that, but other than just watching the games or whatever. But did he come out and say that he's not going to resign?
Oh yeah. I think he pretty much said he was going to move on, or I don't remember exactly what it said, but I saw a blurb about that. He's not going to. He won't be rejoining the Chargers next season.
You never know. He might see. Might see him up in New England.
Be nice to see him come back up Big Ben.
No, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, he probably wants too much money.
He's gonna want some money, and I mean, who wants to sit on the bench last year or last couple of years? You know what I mean?
Steelers definitely need to get a good backup this year, though. Just like to be on the safe side.
I hope they take a look at somebody that they might have to pay a little more money for, but. I mean, even if they sign someone like Mariota, where he needs some work, and kind of refine himself, but has a high ceiling, especially with his legs. Because it seems like the Steelers like a quarterback that can be mobile and run out the pocket and do kind of the street football type of thing. Because I mean, if you look at our backups, unless it was Landry, all of them can run. So
there you go, Nate. Shane says Mason Rudolph was elite.
I'd rather sign dude from Dynamite Hack. What's his name? What was his uncle's name? Rico. Rico.
I'm getting him.
I'd rather get Rico.
Well, speaking of this, I'll try to tie this back into reselling because some folk seem to say we're talking Charlie Brown. When players, no matter what sport they are, they move teams or anything like that, and you got a jersey or you find a jersey with their name, do you find it harder to sell those jerseys with a player from a former team?
They're definitely not worth as much as current jerseys, but like I was telling Nate the other day, like I've sold a ton of Antonio Brown / Le'Veon Bell jerseys just over the last year from all the people just giving them to Goodwill. I'll buy up all the authentic ones and I'll sell them for, $30, $40 all day.
Right, because here where I'm at, like it looks like Cam Newton's not going to return to the Panthers, and I was thinking the same thing. It's like people are going to start donating that stuff. Another one's Greg Olsen, one of the best tight ends in the league. Are people going to start donating that stuff and it'll be worth picking up? Yeah. I've had a a Broncos Wes Welker jersey forever that I've bought the price on and still nobody picks it up. But I guess maybe it depends on the player's name. Like, is that stuff worth picking up? And you find it going for more or less.
Like Greg Olson, I would definitely pick up because he basically has been with the team for forever, and he's been a big part. So people will still want his jersey, still wear his jersey at the games and stuff. Just like kind of like Hines Ward, like he played there forever. You know what I mean? He was a Steeler the whole time. Greg Olson, I'm pretty sure he was a Panther majority of his career.
I think he played 2 years in Chicago. I think he played 2 years in Chicago.
Yeah, because they traded.
I just find too is like I found like a retired player who didn't retire with the team he started with or predominantly played with. Like those jerseys sell fine, but I'm talking like current players when they go to a different team. It takes forever to sell that type of stuff. That's a tough sale. I've found unless it's kind of like a big name. Like if I had a Tom Brady jersey for the Patriots, I had one and I sold it. But if I picked up another one, and he does end up playing somewhere else, how hard of a sale would that be? It's like,
Well, as far as Tom Brady goes and like players of that caliber, my thing is like he's been with the team his whole career. Most people that are going to want like a throwback Tom Brady jersey are going to want a Patriots jersey, not wherever he goes next. That'd be like if you were rocking a Joe Montana Chiefs jersey. It's just like, to me, that's just lame cool compared to.
Right. Yeah, and would it be worth like if like say Tom Brady? Well, we're talking about him.
Yeah,
we know that he's probably towards the end of his career. So would it be worth picking that stuff up and packing it away for a while until he retires, and then would it demand a premium price?
Possibly.
Yeah, if you want to sit on it for 10 years, you don't have a lot of buy. It's not going to eat up a lot of your cash flow. I would maybe do that. I don't know if I have the discipline to do that though. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to know whenever you have something where it's like, okay, I got $500, say, sitting back here in a box with 10 jerseys in it or whatever. But if I hold them for 10 years, it might be worth 100 or 125 because now they're starting to get up in age and the design's different now and people like the older ones and it just depends. But I don't know if I could do that. I'm so like push flip fast as possible, like with everything I do. Like I don't collect anything just for the fact that I try to turn and flip everything that I buy. So, but if you did do that, I don't see it being a bad thing though, especially with like people like we're saying like people that basically been with the team for the majority or retired and didn't go to another team. You know what I mean? Those jerseys for sure. Like that Wes Welker. Yeah, like those people in Denver probably have a bitter taste in their mouth that he went to New England and won a couple championships or whatever. And
well, he was in New England first. He ended in Denver.
Oh, that is
he ended in Denver. Yeah, he flipped. Yeah, he ended in Denver.
That is weird then. Huh? I figured that would sell, but I don't know.
What's up, John? How you doing, man? Crockers Lockers in the house.
I see somebody talking about NASCAR there. That's another, kind of a trip up for I think a lot of newer resellers is NASCAR was at one point in time the most marketable sport. I think it's kind of fallen off now. Like one of the things when I first got into reselling, was picking up anything NASCAR, but I can't tell you the last time I sold a NASCAR item. Mm-hmm. Even around here, Dale Earnhardt's. This is Earnhardt country. Petty is right down the road from me. So I find Petty stuff, Dale Earnhardt Jr., all that stuff. I think it's such a tough sale now. It is, because that stuff's real prevalent and it's just over marketed now. So it's real tough to sell that type of stuff.
Yeah, I have a few NASCAR items that I've had a lot of trouble moving. The one thing that I did get, I bought is a leather jacket that was like almost like a team racing jacket, but it was leather. I got for $1 at a garage sale. It sold basically instantly for like I can't remember what I had on it. I think I had 60 or something. and it sold right away, which I was kind of shocked.
Yeah, actually, just the last thrift store I went to the other day, I haven't even listed it yet, but brand new with tags, like really lightweight NASCAR polo shirt, which I think that'll do.
Yeah, see, that's really nice. But and I've got stuff like that too. That I mean, and I think I have it priced kind of right, kind of average, and I can't move it. I'm lucky. I've got Martinsville is 40 minutes from me. Charlotte's, an hour or so away from me. I've just been thinking about gathering up all my NASCAR stuff, going to a race one weekend, and just walking the parking lots trying to sell it just to get out of it.
Yeah, go in the parking lot, open the trunk, and be like,
yeah, because I think. Well, you gotta wait. You gotta wait till the fans are warmed up. They had a few drinks in them, and drunk NASCAR fans will buy anything with their driver's name on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually won't be a bad idea. I don't know if can you do that without getting in trouble? I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure it's totally against the rules, but if you set up a booth, I'm sure that but you're carrying around a bag with a few things, and you find a drunk guy with a Dale Earnhardt shirt on and say, "Hey, I got this sweater. I'll sell you for $10."
Yeah, I would probably do that if I were you. If you had a bunch of stuff, I mean, you probably do because you're right in the heart of NASCAR country over there.
Well, like I told you guys before, I got to get out of here right now. So I appreciate the opportunity to come on and hang out with you guys.
I appreciate you coming on, man. And any other time you want to, get together and come on, even if it's like a working hangout or something,
right?
Feel free to.
Actually, it's funny. I remember how I ended up with the 1 point that got me onto this show. It was a half a point, if you remember. You guys were scrolling the phone number, and the question was something about when the reseller meetup was, and I was they called a number, and then I think Nate said something about Gate City got it right in the chat, and then I think Anthony said something like that should be worth a half a point, and I actually got on the show because I got 1 point. So guys, it pays to show up on time and even get 1 point.
Yep.
It's like the one guy who wins the lottery buying one ticket, versus the guy who buys 10,000 tickets and doesn't win nothing.
Right. We set up like that because, we want everyone to have a shot. You know what I mean? We don't want someone to feel like someone's gotten 80 points and everyone else has won. And it's like, well, they're not going to win. There's no way then to catch. So we want everyone to have a shot, no matter how many points they got. And you got the winner. So it's just, it's cool that actually happened because it shows that you only need one entry.
So I appreciate it, guys. You guys have a great rest of the show, and I'll see you later.
All right, Paul.
Good work.
Have a great day, man. One broski point can get you into our grand prize.
Yep.
How about that?
That is.
Okay. We'll have to talk after the show to figure out what our prize this month is for sure.
Anybody in the chat have any input of what you'd like to see us give away this month?
I got a couple ideas, but I'd be interested to see what other people have.
Throw out some suggestions, guys. Nate's got an endless supply of money.
What?
You're like the sugar daddy of the show, Nate.
I'm broke these days.
Broke, flat broke. He ain't got it.
A gallon of line tamer.
Yes.
I'll just send them another email and be like, listen, guys, like seriously, like we even made a little like picture and
buy line tamer.
Like, come on. Can't get a $1 an episode or something?
Extra mortgage payments. Yeah, that sounds good. Store credit would be cool. Yeah, I've done that before in a few giveaways. I do like the gallon line tamer idea.
If we win, Nate tells us one good Amazon item.
Here's a question from Justin Jacobs. What would everyone like to see on upcoming auction? He's coming on my channel. We're going to do an auction for him at some point soon. So $1 million. You might have a better shot at 1 million doll hairs.
Or beard hairs.
Yeah. We'll just braid a piece of Nate's beard and cut it out for you. Here you go, Nate.
Right.
You see what Lisa said?
Yeah, I commented on that one. Right.
Dude, StreamYard chat is so behind. It's like insane.
I'm on the pop out.
Yeah.
I've started to whenever you host, I do the pop outs. I'm all the way in.
I got you covered on that, Lynn. I got all types of kitty litter. I got that good stuff that clumps up the pee. That way it's easy to remove.
Yowza.
That's right. Makes the pee as easy to remove as poo. Got that real good kitty litter.
You got that good.
Yep.
What are you going to do today, Anthony?
I got to go over to my dad's house and load my van up. Get some free inventory. I'm guessing most of what he has is probably going to be flea market stuff. Hopefully there's a few things I can cherry pick for eBay, but it's looking like most of it's probably going to be flea market inventory. But if I can, make a couple $100 just by stopping over there and loading a van, I'm definitely going to do it.
I think I'm gonna list today. I feel better today. So yesterday was rough,
Yeah.
and Wednesday's our worst day too. So I just kind of I had to take charge yesterday and just kind of dominate the pace and what I had to do. So
yeah, I hear you there, Dana. I need to. I put a pretty big dent in it yesterday. We did a 5-hour hangout last night, but yeah, I definitely need to finish this death pal off. DC Pucker likes a good Putin nanny. Litter clumps and scented dumps. Yes. That's
awesome. Thanks, Lon. I appreciate that. Yeah, I literally went to bed last night and I took some Tylenol and
dude, I was actually looking forward to the secret bearded thing yesterday because my wife was working overnight and I could have actually hung out with you guys.
First thing about the secret bearded thing is
you don't talk about secret bearded. Well, I think we're going to end early today because I got to get a few things done, run over to my dad's house. But I'm sure you'll probably see this bearded guy at some point today, being that he lives on YouTube when he's not at work. So no beard on YouTube today?
I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to do a working hangout today. I might maybe do a private one maybe, but I just need to really buckle down and get some stuff done. Maybe I'll jump into somebody's if someone else has, but I'm going to really be doing work.
Gotcha.
I got so much stuff to list and picture, and I got to sort through my totes now since I got Mr. Splinter out the basement. So
cool. Well, guys, yeah, if you could on the way out, hit that thumbs up for me. I'd appreciate it. That helps somehow in the algorithm. So definitely appreciate any of you guys helping us grow a bit. Definitely is much appreciated. But guys, until tomorrow, we'll be on Nate's channel, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as usual. Anything you want to say, Beard?
If anyone's doing the work and hangout, hit me up on Facebook and check out the Flippin' Particles at 12.
Yeah.